So now we have our lines on a new layer. The next thing we need to do is clean them up because our illustrations are going to be a lot more kind of bigger and clearer than they look when they're on paper. And if you zoom in, so just get your magnifying glass tool down there and zoom in, excuse me, move my layers out the way there, and I can close those channels now. Zoom in, you see the lines actually aren't as neat as they could be, and we have some like line going on down the edge here, and all sorts of stuff going on. So we are going to just simply make sure you are on the lines layer, and select your eraser tool. Make sure at the top here that you've got a nice clean brush, a good size, hardness 100%, so that we keep those lines really crisp, and opacity 100%. And then literally just start by going around and erasing any unwanted lines that are around the edge. And say, look here, for example, on my log that she is standing on, it's just a bit messy down the edge, so I can use the eraser tool to just clean that up, and then I can make it much smaller, and I can zoom in more and just really go around all the lines, just neating them up. And what I like, for example here, like getting rid of these little bits here, which some of it can be a trace from the pencil sketch underneath that I just didn't erase properly. Some of it where I've just kind of not been that neat with my pen, but if you look how thick the pen lines look here, I was using a really fine nib pen. It's hard to actually get them looking that crisp and neat, so that's why this stage is quite important. So I would just go around. It's, yes, kind of time consuming to go around and do the whole illustration, but trust me when I say it's worth it, because the overall effect is so much better. I'm not going to show you myself doing this whole thing because that's going to make for a really boring video. You get the picture, but I will just say one other thing. Where we have these little lines, like you can see here, where there's kind of a blunt edge at the end of a line, I always think it makes it look so much better if we bring that line to a point, and we can do that using the eraser tool. We can do it using a pen tool if we want to be really precise, but for now let's just use the eraser tool. So I'll just show you on his leg warmers what I mean. So for example, I'm just literally going to cut in so that the end of the line there is a point, and I'm going to go around and do that on all of the lines in his leg warmers, so that I can illustrate to you what I mean. There we go, and this one. So that's that one done. I'm happy with that. I will go around the edges a bit more here and neaten up the lines like there, for example. But I'm kind of pretty happy with that one. On this one I can see there's a couple of little overlaps there, so I will go over these lines, make that a bit more pointed. The point is that your pencil drawing, or your pen drawing even, doesn't have to be the final drawing. You can still make adjustments now that you have it in Photoshop. Really just let's neaten up this layer. Look, I've got a little bit of pen over there. Really zoom in close and look really carefully at everything on that layer, and make sure that your lines are really crisp, because it's these details that make such a big difference overall to the finished illustration. So I'm nearly done with his feet and leg warmers, just finishing off that side there. Like I say, I'm making these lines pointy at the end instead of blunt. Oh, excuse me. And I'm just erasing any messy bits of pen, because we don't like messy. So that's a bit there. I'll just cut that line off because that didn't need to go all the way across. And a bit up here near the top that I'll get rid of. Okay, so as far as his leg warmers go, I'm pretty happy with those. Maybe make a bit, there we go. So that looks so much better now than it did before. Just taking a bit off there, right? So I'm going to pause the video here and go and finish cleaning up those lines, and I will see you in the next section when we're going to start actually colouring and illustration, and we get to the really fun part then.